Do you want to take control of your health? Hear the truth about dieting and weight loss? Learn the best strategies for maintaining a healthy lifestyle? This is the Yossi Muller Show.
And welcome to the show. I'm Yossi Muller.
And I'm Duddy Muller.
Duddy is a chef with a background in nutrition.
Yossi is a nutritionist with a background in nutrition.
Every show we do, we take another myth and debunk it.
Crush it.
Today's topic is, if I eat less, I'll lose weight. People think that if they eat less, they'll lose weight. Weight loss is simply a matter of eating less than one is used to eating.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to following a plan.
Why do people think that if you only just eat less without having a plan, you'll lose weight?
Common sense. I became overweight because I ate too much.
Well, yeah.
So if I eat less, I'll lose weight, right? I mean, people who eat less lose weight, no?
I believe so.
Now, I have a question for you. Why should a person lose weight when they're eating less food? They're still eating.
Uh-huh.
Shouldn't you gain weight? Let me ask you, how much do you weigh, Duddy? Okay, so you don't want to share that. So make up a number.
Make up a number? Wow, that will be tough. I don't know if I can. I know lots of numbers, and as I try to make one up, I realize that I've seen or heard it before somewhere.
Okay, don't make up a number. Take an existing number.
Okay.
And pretend that number is your weight.
Okay, 200 pounds.
Okay, and suppose we're going to go with the notion that we don't have to follow a plan to lose weight, we just have to eat less. So when you're eating less, how much does your meal weigh?
Let's see. Let's say I ate a pound of food by lunch.
So you ate 200 pounds and you ate a pound of food. So why don't you gain weight? 200 plus 1 is 201.
That is true. That's a good point.
Every time you eat something, you should gain more and more weight. I understand you're eating less than before. Shouldn't you keep gaining weight?
Right, you're still putting food in your body.
Okay, so if that's what's going on, how do people on diets lose weight even though they are eating? The answer is because even though one is eating food, one is also burning calories.
Aha.
You, Duddy, burn a calorie every...
Me?
Yes. You burn a calorie every 30 seconds.
Ooh, I'm good at burning calories.
That's actually about average. So the calories that a person burns offsets the food that the person eats. Now, how does a person lose weight? The way a person loses weight is if they consume fewer calories than they burn. Now, every person in the world is currently consuming a certain number of calories.
Whatever that number may be.
Right. Even if someone's not eating at all, 0 is a number.
That is true.
So everyone's consuming a certain number of calories. Now, if you've been gaining weight recently, then it means you had to have been eating more calories than you burn. If you've been staying the same weight recently, then...
you were eating the same calories as you were burning.
And if you were gaining weight means you were having more calories than you're burning. So then eating less is not enough because it's not less than you were burning. You were eating more than you were burning.
So basically, it's a system. There's a balance. The idea is that if you eat more than what you use up, or vice versa, that balance shifts. If you eat less than before, but still more than what you use up, then you will still be gaining weight, just slower. If you eat exactly what you use up, you will still not lose weight. You will just stay the same weight. In order to lose weight, you have to change the balance in the other direction. You need to create what nutritionists call a calorie deficit.
Absolutely. And there was a kid who was on my diet program, and over Sukkot, and especially the last days of Sukkot, there was a lot of candy being given out. And what he did is every time he was offered candy, he took it, and instead of eating it, he collected it and put it in a pail. And then he showed up proudly the next day after Yontif with this huge pail full of candy.
Wow, good for him.
And that's incredible self-control. But are you going to say that he weighed less the day after Yontif than the day before Yontif?
Of course not. He just didn't gain as much as he could have, maybe.
Right, but he ate less.
Right, so eating less is not what makes you lose weight. Yossi, let's say I wasn't gaining weight before I started in the first place. I was maintaining my weight.
Oh, that's a good question. If you were maintaining weight before you started your diet, one would think that if you eat less than you used to eat, that would create a calorie deficit.
Right.
And that would result in weight loss. So the answer to that is, even if you were maintaining weight before your diet, you're still not going to lose weight from eating less because it might be fewer calories than you're burning, but it's not cutting back enough to see a difference. It has to be enough of a deficit that you see a difference. If you're eating 100 calories less, that's not going to show up on the scale.
I hear. Okay.
There was a client of mine, he had his diet plan, and most people who have salad on their plan get dressing in their salad. This person was choosing a lot of avocados and nuts and other high-fat foods, so I wasn't able to give him dressing, and he didn't even complain about it. But one day, he shows up, and he's all upset that he has to eat salad without dressing. And he said, I don't understand. I have to eat this plain salad, and I don't get dressing. I should be able to have dressing.
Poor fellow.
And I said, the issue is you're taking your fats or your calories in another place. We could swap something out. He wasn't excited about that, and he said, but I don't understand. I got you a client. I should be able to have dressing. He was nice to me. He got me a client. He convinced his son to come to me, so I should give him dressing. So I told him he could have a certain dressing, Walden Farms dressing, which has no calories. And he was happy with that.
Because he was getting his dressing.
And then the next night, his son came for his consult, the son who his father took credit for. Normally, I don't ask a client who referred them to me, but this time I felt like asking. Because I was very curious. I wanted to confirm that his father actually sent his son to me and not someone else, because I was giving him dressing.
Okay, and what ended up being the case?
So I said, what made you think of coming to me or whatever? How do you hear about me? And he said, oh, my friend. I'm like, your friend? He's like, yeah, my friend. And no one else? He's like, no, no one else.
Suspicious.
Suspicious. His father's going to be in big trouble next week. And he shows up and I say, you took credit for your son coming to me, and I found out that your son did not come because of you. He came because of someone else. So I'm taking away your dressing.
Ooh.
And his father, instead of being apologetic about it, he said, I don't care who sent him. I don't care who convinced him to come. I'm paying for it. I should get dressing, and I should get garinim. Now he wants sunflower seeds. So why can't the guy have salad with dressing? Because it might be fewer calories that he's burning, but it's not enough to actually see a difference. So every little thing counts.
Okay, so let's say I am cutting back enough that I will see a difference.
That's a good point. So that might work the first week. But week number 2, you weigh less than you weigh the first week.
Hopefully.
And week number 3, hopefully you continue losing weight. And the less a person weighs, the fewer calories they burn by existing.
And the more difficult it is to lose weight.
And when I said that you, Dudi, burn a calorie every 30 seconds, if you weigh less, then it's going to be every 35 seconds. Then you lose more weight, it'll be every 40 seconds. Because you burn fewer calories with every pound you lose, it might be enough to see a difference at the beginning, but it won't necessarily last more than a week. So eating less, even if it's cutting back enough to see a difference, doesn't necessarily result in weight loss.
Yeah, but I was cutting back so much that I saw a difference week 1, week 2, week 3.
So you're saying that if someone's eating less, they're not following a plan, but they're eating less.
They're eating so much less that they could see a difference long term.
Let me explain. In order for someone to lose weight, they have to be creating a calorie deficit. They have to be cutting back.
Okay.
Now, they also have to be having enough calories so they could function.
Okay.
So that's a specific number. So if you have a plan, then that plan could be based on that number of calories or that amount of food. But if you're just eating less and you're eating so little that you'll lose weight week 1, 2, 3, and so on, it is almost certainly going to be too little to function. Because if you're not following a specific plan, how in the world are you going to luckily get that exact number just by eating less? You'll probably eat too little. If it's enough to function, it's probably too much to lose weight. You're probably having too many calories to be able to lose weight. And if you're eating so little that you're losing weight consistently week 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're probably having too few calories to function.
Okay, I'm not backing down so easy. Who says I care about functioning? What if I'm willing to not function?
Even if you're okay with not functioning and eating so little, you still cannot succeed if you don't have a plan.
Aha.
And there are 3 reasons. Reason number 1 is, if you don't have a plan, you cannot plan ahead. So if you don't have a food plan, there's no way you could plan your day or plan your meals. And if you just rely on what's accessible and you just play it by ear and you just wing it every day, the food that will be accessible, that food will be very high in calories and very high in carbs and are not very good for a diet. So if you can't plan ahead, you're not going to get those foods that are good for a diet.
Okay, what's the second reason?
Second reason is that if you are just eating less and you're not following a plan, then there will be a lot of uncertainty. In order for someone to succeed at changing a habit, the change has to be, and this is a new word, Binary.
What is binary, Yossi?
Binary means that it's either yes or no. It's black or white. It's clear. We know exactly whether we are doing something we should or doing something we shouldn't. If someone wants to quit a bad habit, the object of the game is to engage in something binary to change that habit. Let me give you an example of a bad habit that the change is binary, either yes or no. If someone has an alcohol problem, they know what they're supposed to do. They know they're supposed to refrain from drinking alcohol.
Right, it's simple. Don't drink alcohol.
There's no uncertainty.
Drinking alcohol is sometimes fine if you're with friends. No, it's not. If you're trying to get past the addiction to alcohol, any drinking of any alcohol is wrong. It's simple. Alcohol, no.
And if your job is to drink less alcohol, that's a waste of time.
Right. There's no less there. It's either yes or no.
And the same thing with cigarettes. If someone needs to quit smoking, the way it works is they know exactly what they're supposed to do. And mind you, some people are very successful with quitting smoking slowly. They might go from a pack to half a pack, but it's still binary. They know exactly that their job is to smoke a half a pack. It's not, I'm supposed to smoke less. That is too vague. That has too much uncertainty. The only way a person could change an eating habit, a lot of people have this issue. They say, I can't quit eating. I can't stop eating because you have to eat, right? You have to eat to survive, so I can't just stop. And they'll say that this is their issue, but the answer is that you follow a specific plan, and then it's binary. If you're following the plan, you're okay. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Whether you stick to the plan or not is a separate discussion, but you have to at least know if it's okay or not.
Right. Simple yes or no decisions are far easier to make. Decision making is one of the toughest things for your willpower. The more decisions you need to make, even the silliest and smallest of things, the less mental energy you will have. One of the greatest benefits of an actual diet with actual rules, like a plan, is that the decisions are already made for you.
Absolutely. And a third reason why we need to have a plan is to be motivated. Without a plan, then your job is to eat less. In other words, you used to eat too much, and eating is bad.
Right, eating is bad because eating makes you gain weight.
So you're going to try to eat less. Why are you eating at all? Because you need to eat to survive. But you're going to eat as little as you can. And whenever you're eating, you're really doing something you shouldn't.
That's not very good for your emotional health.
It's not very motivating that every time you're eating, you're doing something that you really shouldn't do, but you kind of have to, and you're trying to avoid as much as possible. You're always doing something bad. But if you're following a plan, then whenever you're eating, you're actually doing something good because you are doing what you're supposed to do. So someone who's trying to eat less, with every bite, they feel like they're doing something they shouldn't do. And someone who's following a plan, with every bite, they feel like they're doing something they should.
Right. You might be looking at eating as a necessary evil to survive. If you had a choice, you'd rather never have to eat at all because whenever you eat, you're risking weight gain. But that's not what it is. Eating what is included and allowed in a good plan is a good thing and promotes your weight loss. Feel good about what you're doing.
That's so important. You want to be feeling good when you're eating, not feeling like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you got this.
So the need for a specific plan is to lose weight, you need to eat fewer calories than you burn. If you eat less than you used to eat, but without a specific plan, you may very well still be having too many calories.
Right.
Even if you're cutting back enough that you're having fewer calories than you burn, it may not be enough of a deficit to actually see a difference. And even if it's enough of a deficit to see a difference, it may not be enough to last more than a week. And even if it is enough to last more than a week, then it's probably too little to function. And if you're okay with eating so little and enduring pain and not functioning properly, you still can't succeed. And mind you, what's an example? When people have competitions where you win $25,000 for losing the most weight, when you have an incentive to lose weight, a crazy big incentive to lose weight,
then you're willing to endure all the pain that might go with extreme undereating.
But even if you are such a person, you still can't succeed without a plan for 3 reasons. 1, without a plan, you can't plan ahead.
Right.
2, by constantly having battles and decision-making and uncertainty,
you make it much more difficult for you to succeed. You need clear yes, no options. You need to know what you can do and what you can't do. No in-betweens.
And finally, to be motivated, you need that when you're eating, you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
It can't be that every bite you take, you are looking behind your shoulder or thinking about the scale. No, you have to feel good about what you're eating.
Okay, so
the take-home message for today is to lose weight, follow a specific plan.
A good specific plan. Not a plan to eat 8 donuts a day until you get bored of it, then eat 8 slices of pizza a day. Follow a specific good plan.
And don't just eat less than you used to eat. That will not work. And that takes us to the end of this episode.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you join us next time.